Welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. If you have questions about things that we talked about on this week's show or questions that we haven't talked about that it pertains to your retirement, 419-794-3030. Online, americasretirementheadquarters.com. Now, guys, the Morningstar website looked at how rebalancing affected portfolio performance this year. After running 6 test portfolios, it found that while rebalancing didn't always improve returns, it helped keep risk in check. So, poses an interesting question here. How often should a plan get this review, especially with the market being as volatile as it is these days?
Well, I think, Morningstar's review is very valid for a lot of people that have been listening to the show or people that are, close to or in retirement time. What, my experience of 28 years in the industry has shown is that, people that look at their investments on a short-term basis tend to make more poor short-term decisions. Sure. I think rebalancing is very important. I think it's important to pay attention to the financial news and economic news. I can say that, when I used to go over to my mom's house, it would always be, the news channel on. At some point, there's too much news. Sometimes you just got to tune it out, but sure, you also do have to pay attention to what's happening. The suggestions that I would have is, first and foremost, set up a rebalance as part of a normal part of your process. So that could be rebalancing once a quarter or every 6 months. Even once a year, the younger you are, it might work out really well to just do rebalancing on those different time frames. The other way you want to look at doing a rebalance is you want to rebalance when markets are out of the normal. Right now, I would say markets are out of the normal, and, markets have extreme, but, what happens is there's threats and opportunities. And so you want to make sure that you're watching out for those threats that are in the market and taking advantage of the opportunities that are out there. In fact, I know today we had some great conversations talking about our upcoming Toledo walleye season. We talked with Haley from Akai about health and wellness. If you did miss those sections, we'll have them posted on our YouTube channel. And, of course, they're available on every major podcast that's out there, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can tune in and listen to those previous segments. But the biggest thing is if you're a listener and, you're concerned about the market, maybe you've been listening to us, this is your first time, or maybe you've listened to us, 50 times. If you're uncomfortable and you want to know, what you can do to keep your risk in check and figure out what you could do with your portfolio, I would say, as we wrap up kind of today's segment and show, I'd say the first step that you can do is, get some information, become educated on what your options are. One of the ways that you can do that is by registering to come out to our upcoming economic summit. We are going to have the Toledo Walleye players come out and join us. So we've got a cool educational time, but at the same time, we've got a talk on the midterm elections. Right. We're going to be talking about the economy, where interest rates are going, what inflation means, and how that transpires into the market, and what type of action to get you better prepared to finish this year strong, because you got to win. And again, as we were talking about before, it's all about the season, not just one day or not just one game. All of the event details about our economic summit coming up on October 5th are listed at our website. Our website, Americasretirementheadquarters.com. Click on the events tab. And for those of you who are looking for information on healthcare, we have a couple of good events that are up there. But I would say to answer the Morningstar question, again, what you want to do is you want to look at regular time frames. That could be 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. I run into some people that come in for meetings, and I'll ask them about their investment 401k, and they'll say, sure, I set it up years ago,
yeah, absolutely,
and I never looked at it again. And so what we'll do is we'll take that portfolio the way that it's allocated. What we can do is we'll put it into our software, and it'll tell us if the portfolio is optimized to try to achieve the highest potential return for the level of risk that they're taking. So those people who set it and forget it and never looked at it, I do find that those people are probably due for a checkup. It's just like getting your annual physical checkup, right. Getting your teeth checked up, things like that. And then the other people, I would say, to answer the question, that are the extreme situations, or those that, do things on a more regular basis. right now there's major threats and there's major opportunities overall. One of the threats that we've seen is when an economy gets tough and the time is bad and the markets and the economy are tough, people can make a bad decision that can hurt themselves. This is an environment, folks, we don't want you to get hurt in. We're here to help educate you and get you through the process. So that's what I would suggest people do.
So Nolan, I real quick, I know we're coming up at the end of the show here, but real quick, I have never in all of my years of being an investor ever went into my advisor and said, I think it's time to rebalance. So if I come to you, because obviously you're my investor now, but if I come to you, I mean, are you going to tell me, you know what, Scott, I think it's time to maybe do a rebalance on your portfolio and let's take a look at it and things like that. I mean, how many people out there even know what rebalancing is?
Yeah, true. I'd say it's a two-way conversation. So like in our office, we have a dedicated investment committee meeting that we do. These are things that we're taking care of,
sure,
for our clients as we manage money on a discretionary basis. At the same time, if you have questions about your portfolio, even if you don't understand the terms, the important thing to remember is it's always okay to reach out to your advisor. And if you're not hearing from your advisor, it's always okay to get a second opinion. You need somebody in these environments that's being proactive.
Thank you.
Again, there's no such thing as, a bad question, especially as it pertains to your finances. And if you are curious about having a rebalance done, or if you've never had it done, all the more reason to get one done as soon as possible. Pick up the phone, schedule time to speak with the team at America's Retirement Headquarters. They'll be happy to run that second opinion for you. Take a look at where you stand right now and what moves can be made. 419-794-3030 is the phone number, or americasretirementheadquarters.com. One last time, don't forget, you can find out more information about how to reserve your space for the upcoming economic summit coming up next Wednesday at the Perrysburg Hilton Garden Inn. americasretirementheadquarters.com. Just click on the events tab there. We want to thank you for joining us this week here on the show, here on America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys formula and America's Medicare Associates. Please have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week ahead of you. And guys, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with the final word.
Well, since we're talking economic summit and we're talking walleye season, I think it is no better than to end with Wayne Gretzky, and that's you miss 100% of the shots you never take.